live, everybody. Welcome to the special end of the year episode of the Firefighters Chalkboard. I am sorry we are 7 minutes late, but that is my fault, not these guys here. Tech is not my thing. Merry Christmas, everybody. We've got a really good show planned out. We don't know what it's going to be, but we're going to have some damn good conversations going on in the middle of it. I got Corley Moore, Rob Ramirez, and Ian Schulte on tonight. Fellas, what's up?
What's going on?
How you doing, brother? Excited to be here.
Absolutely.
Same here.
So, I mean, this is like last weekend for Ian and Corley. I mean,
we had a good conversation.
Oh, yeah. So, the biggest thing.
That was awesome. You guys put on a great show.
Yeah, absolutely. And the biggest thing was I figured we could do tonight is we could actually have some real good conversation about what happened for us for the year, you know, things that we experienced, new people we met, things we achieved, and what we're truly trying to look at doing next year. Try to inspire some people to get out, do some training, have some fun.
I love it.
So,
Rob
should let Corley go last.
I say Rob's had nothing go on this year. Nothing's changed in his life at all this year.
Well,
yeah, right. We should let you go last. I just wrote 3 other books.
we can let the newly promoted chief start it off.
I like it.
That would be me. It was a great year for the Mayday Mindset. Stayed pretty busy. I got out to a bunch of places. Went back to all the different conferences. It's always good when you get invited back, right? Because it kind of validates you having done a good job the first time. Got into FDIC for the first time for next year. That's a long time coming. I was absolutely ecstatic about that. Visited Hawaii for the first time. Went back to Germany. It was a good year. Ended up getting a new job. Amongst all that craziness, I was able to get a new job, building a new fire department just when I thought I was starting to slow down. I cheated the system and got busier and more involved with the fire service than I ever could be at the tail end of my career. This time as the chief officer, and I'm learning every day, man. I joke about it at work. I feel like I'm doggy paddling in an Olympic pool with a bunch of Michael Phelps, because the guys around me are career chief officers used to administration, and I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'll be there every day and give 110%.
I like it. How about you, Ian?
Man, this year's been it's been a trying year in its own right. Started off this year being given a chance to go up and help, or go down and help at CFT. Had a great chance to meet Rob and work with Rob through one of his RIT classes, and he helped me with a search class. Had a fantastic time working with him. Was back at MAFC this year with Kevin and Kate and the 2-in Who Out team. Was also at Oath Keepers this year, teaching guys to throw 35s by themselves. Outside of that, the other programs that I'm involved in, I've had some heartbreaks and some setbacks on some things. But, you know, at the end of the day, 2025 was a year that tested me physically, mentally, emotionally, and I'm walking away from it with my heart full, despite some of the setbacks from it. Some of my motives have been questioned by people that I respect, but at the end of the day, you know, those challenges, they all exist for a reason. And you know, going into 2026, man, I'm actually going to try and stay involved in the programs that I'm in, but I want to take a bit of a step back and kind of step into the shadows for a little bit, enjoy a little bit of the life that I've built, and give back more here at home and everything, rather than being out and being all over the place. Not saying you won't see me, just maybe being a little more quiet going into 2026.
Okay.
Very killer.
Yeah, very much so.
Corley?
So for me, yep. 2025, not on my bingo card, was retirement. Not on the bingo card at all at the start of the year, but it did happen this year, and it's been an adjustment for sure. But it has allowed me to pivot to a lot of projects that I wanted to get to, and one of the biggest ones to accomplish was, of course, the work of Surge. Yeah, and I had the team that put this together was the Vigilante team that did so much work on this. Rob, I know you were involved in the editing process and punching it up, but unbelievable. This thing, we got it out in time for Christmas. It's going everywhere. It's going nuts. It's a bestseller on Amazon, and it was really cool to put that to bed not because I wanted to be done with it, but just to get it done was a huge. And so now I can go on to other things. And the Scrap Solo project is launching January 1. And so it's going to be fun. Lots of projects, lots of fingers, lots of pies.
Yeah. I mean,
the man is an android.
Yes. Yes. All right. So we've already got our first comment starting to pop up. The first one was, why are your hats not on backwards? That was the first one.
Damn it.
Somebody's already called us out.
We did discuss that. Rob said, no, I'm not doing it.
Should write you all up for being out of uniform.
No one will take me seriously.
I can't do my boy Ian like that. I can't believe that we taught together at CFT this year. That feels like it was 4 years ago. This has been the busiest year ever.
I know, right?
Yeah.
When you said this year, I'm like, no, he's wrong. And then I was like, no, he's so right. It was this year.
It was February.
Yeah, man. Holy shit. February feels like 2010.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like, I know for me this year, it's been a whirlwind in so many good ways. I never thought that when I'd get to meet Ian. I met him at MAFC, and it exploded from there. I launched a Chalkboard right at the first of the year, and we've had a slow and steady gain. We're almost at 1,800 followers now, which is really good. We're getting some good feedback. Had some amazing guests. 49 episodes. You guys are 49. So 49 episodes in a year. I think that's pretty solid. That's almost a solid one a week. And
awesome.
It's tough to do, bro. It is.
It is tough to do that. And I'm literally 3 hours away from finishing my degree, and really excited about that. Never thought going back to school at 45 was a great idea. But it's helped me be more empathetic with my students whenever I'm back in the books and stuff, instead of me just standing in front teaching. And actually, I found a new love for writing. I actually, started doing some stuff. Met up with Stephanie and Steph White, and she got me more solid on my writing. Helped me do that, and helped me start doing some small articles and stuff. And that led into me getting a couple of books punched out. And I found out, that I really, really like caffeine enough to where it keeps me up completely all the time, where all I do is sit here and write. And I'm just really excited to see what's going on, because we launched hadn't launched a project yet. It's something that's in the works. We're hoping to have it done hopefully by the end of January. But I took a great idea that Corley had with the book of search and everything else, and we're doing a project called It Takes a Village. So we've got in between 35 to 40 contributors that are going to tell the story of the people that helped raise them through the fire service, because none of us do it by ourselves. I don't care what anybody says. We all have so many people that invest into us to help us be successful. And what it's going to do is give a perfect opportunity for us to give that true thank you to the people that helped us along the way. And it'll be something that lasts indefinitely, because it'll be in a printed material form. And I'm hoping that it inspires people to step up and start mentoring others, to realize that we've got to step up. We've got to put people under our wings and tote them through the fire service and help them be there to take over whenever we're not there anymore, because we're not going to be there forever. And if we don't prepare them, have we truly made the fire service better?
I agree with you completely. And you should have just gotten my first draft today of that. I know you had graduation and everything, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Mentorship is imperative in this day and age. We have so many young guys who are coming up who don't have good positive role models. It's up to us to reach our hand out and help bring people up, especially when, like we were talking before the show. So many people are just looking for an experience. And at the end of the day, if you can capture that guy who's maybe just looking for that experience, and you turn him, put a little bit of love into him and turn him into somebody who loves the job, you've just captured somebody for life. You just made the next Wayne.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Amen.
And Ian, about it, and me and Corley were pre-gaming about it. Today was a big day for me. Today was graduation day of our class that we've been working with for the last 30 weeks. And it was I will tell you right now, there's nothing that can ever top today. Back in 2013, I run a call, and it was a bad call, one that was a really traumatic incident. Took care of a little boy, and I pinned that badge. I watched that little boy get a badge pinned on him today, and before he left, he rocked my original collar brass home with him, and that was a true full circle event to know that I helped him be able to do what he done today on multiple levels. I took care of him when he needed a responder all those years ago. And I get me doing my job made an impact to where he wanted to help others. And then it turns around even more full circle whenever he become one of my recruits. And I didn't find out about it until about halfway through class. And come to find out, he was that little boy I took care of those years ago. And then I got to watch his mom pin his badge on him today. And then I gave him a little going home token for the end of the day. I took my original collar brass I'd had pinned on me when I was a fireman, 25 years ago, and told him I couldn't think of anybody else better to wear it. I mean, my career will never get better than that. I don't care if I pin on fire chief or whatever else. To me, that is the highlight of my career right there.
That was a pretty powerful day. Pretty powerful day, man. No doubt about it.
I mean, Wayne, that right there is a complete testament to what it is that we do in the training division, what we do as instructors. I mean, you have seen full circle the impact that what we do can have on people out in the public, from just being that responder who goes out, puts a little boy who was injured in the back of the ambulance, didn't know if you were ever going to see him again, didn't even know if he lived, and come to find out you inspired him to get into this line of work because you had a direct impact. There is no greater testament to what we do than that right there.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, and the funny thing about it is, if he'd have never said anything about it, we'd have kept on moving on like it was. He'd have got, everything would exactly happen today just like it did before. Mm-hmm. And it, just like you said, it's a true testament of, no matter what we do, the interaction we have with the people that call for our service, we do have a huge impact in them, no matter what we think. And a lot of times it's a lot more positive impacts than what we are truly aware of. And that should be a reason for us to preach the gospel of always do your best and give your best to every person that calls for us.
No doubt about
it. All right, so let's see.
What do you got for the questions, Wayne?
Let's see. Hang on. Oh, here's one. Tyler Whitfield said, since we have a couple of the best mentors in the fire service, what is your biggest piece of advice for a new fireman coming into a fire service that has changed so much in recent years? And the advice to an officer who is new to the seat dealing with the new generation coming up.
Who wants it? Damn. Who's fielding it first?
Wow.
I just want to say hi to Tyler. Grab Factory. Let's go.
Oh, Whitfield in the house. All right, I'll go with it. What's your biggest piece of advice for a new fireman coming into the new fire service or into the fire service that has changed so much in recent years? One thing you can always count on is change. And one thing you can always count on is the fire service is very cyclical. So one thing, a piece of advice I would be is straight up, frankly, 101, learn something fire service related every day. You will never regret it. And just make a commitment to yourself that you're going to learn something fire service related every day. Not only can you learn the old things, you can read like Willie Clark's Blue Book or even older if you can get the older versions. You can read Braidwood. You can read the old stuff because it's awesome to get the the foundation. And it makes you understand the changes that are coming. But one thing that doesn't change is tones drop, we go. We take care of people. And that's, man, learn something fire service related every day. The old stuff gives you the foundation for why the new stuff changing matters. And how it's more the same than it is different. But that's the advice I would be is straight up, like I said, frankly, 101. Learn something fire service related every day.
Yeah.
And you won't regret it ever in your career. There we go. Soft toss. I'll kick it to Rob Ramirez and go.
All right.
I took the low hanging fruit, so left you with.
You did. And I'm going to just touch up on the new guys again. Remain a lifelong student, right? Honor the traditions of the past and help build the future. This is your game. This is your arena. We have more information in today's fire service than we've ever had at the palm of our hand. Look for that information just for, and turn those book smarts and all that education you receive in minimum standards and all these extracurricular 40-hour activities that you do into like book smarts, into street smarts. The only way that happens is through application and constant repetition. Fail fast, fail forward. Maintain the traditions of the old and look to work into where you want the fire service to go. You're in the driver's seat right now. Guys like us are on the way out. It's something that you guys have to honor and follow and build on. It doesn't just happen by mistake. All of this is very intentional. Read, like Corley just said, read something fire service related every day. Do a tabletop activity every shift. Every shift doesn't have to be full bunker gear workouts and go out there and kill yourself doing everything you could possibly do on the fire ground on the training ground. It's about the majority of the time, but staying consistent with it, right? How do elections get won? They don't get won by unanimous votes. They get won by the majority. The majority of the time you're doing the right thing, you're going to grow. And then take your damn time. Take your time. There is no rush to go to the next step. Master the basics. Master the basics. You're showing up with a minimum level of education. All right. The way you turn that education into culture, tradition, and ability is through time and failing and learning and moving on. The more you do that, the more complex problems you'll be able to solve. And you're going to become an asset to your organization. But don't skip steps and charge right through it, looking to the next best thing. I want to go to special operations. I want to be a lieutenant. I want to be a captain. I want to go to the truck. Take your time, learn every step. And then when you do get there, you're going to be that much better for it. And the people are watching and the people know. That's my advice to the new guy. The company officer, man, maintain the culture, maintain the firehouse, take care of your people, love your people, know the job, be nice, be human, dude. We're in the people business. I hate when I hear guys talk about, I'm not a people person. That drives me nuts. We are in the people business, all right? When somebody dials 911, you show up and you're dealing with people. When you're a company officer at the firehouse, you're dealing with people. When you go on a run, and if you're the boss and you look to your left and the driver is there, that is a person, all right? If you're not good with people, you're not going to be good at your job. All the skill in the world makes you unrelatable if you can't apply it to people, all right? You need to have an even scale of credibility and relatability to be effective in anything we do in this job. And that's just day one, hour one. That's what I got. Ian, take it, babe.
Yeah, man. So for the biggest piece of advice that I have for new firemen, first and foremost, and we talked about it last week, always challenge your status quo. Take everything that you know and be willing to challenge it in light of new information. With everything that's coming out from UL and NIST, with the Firefighter Mayday Survey, the Firefighter Rescue Survey, the Technical Rescue Tracker, all these new data points that we have that are giving us more information that we know about the fire service now. Be willing to take that information in. And I'm not saying, the new shiny thing is the thing that we need to cling to. Everything needs to be vetted. Everything needs to be double checked for accuracy. But when this information is distilled down, we determine that it's accurate and that we need to make changes. We need to be willing to accept that. Just because we did this 20, 30 years ago doesn't mean that it holds the same water that it does today. We respect the past, but we move into the future. Remember that we stand on the shoulders of giants. Next thing that I have is, if you're a new fireman, be a professional. When I say be a professional, it doesn't matter if you receive a paycheck or not. You should know your rig inside and out. If you're an engine company fireman, you should know the lengths of your lines. You should know the diameter of your lines. You should know how much water comes out of it. You should know how much water's on the rig. You should know how much water you can get out of that pump. You should understand the equipment that is assigned to you. That is part of being a professional, is knowing your equipment. Now, when it comes to probably both positions, first and foremost, firefighters and officers, own your failures. Own your failures. When you make a mistake, be open, be honest, and tell people. Don't try and cover it up. you tend to get into more trouble. One, when people figure out that you're trying to cover shit up because you're showing that you are not a person of integrity. But also, especially as a company officer, when you fail, when you make mistakes and you step up and you own the mistakes that you make, people honestly tend to have more respect for you as an individual. And it shows that your vulnerability, when you make mistakes, you're building a level of trust amongst your crew. And the same thing for young firefighters. So own your failures. On top of that, when it comes to being a boss, the biggest things that you can do is be open and honest with your communications, establish your expectations with your personnel, and have hard conversations early. If you do not put a stop to something that you don't want to see, you are now condoning that action and you are complicit in it. So that's first and foremost. It's not easy to have hard conversations, but you have to learn to do it.
Dude, you killed it.
I'm telling you. Hey,
I thought I got the low hanging fruit. I thought Rob then crushed it and left nothing left for Ian. I was like, oh, Ian got screwed.
I left so much meat on the bone.
Dude, he just tore it apart.
I was sitting right here trying to find a plate to pass around somewhere back here.
Yeah, baby, that was awesome. All right, I see you
preaching.
I'm telling you.
Yep.
All right, so Kelly, I see you on here. I didn't. We're not ignoring you. I think that so guys, Kelly McGowan's question was, how do you stay so passionate in training and stuff instead of just riding out your last couple of days or last little bit of time on Easy Street? And I'm trying to, guys, you are flooding us with questions. Love it. I'm going to try to get everybody caught up. But,
send the questions.
Yeah.
Keep them coming.
Yeah. The Kelly, the easiest way is the training center, is my purpose. It is my calling for what I think is now. It's what gives me life makes me want to get up and do this job. I thought I loved being a fireman. I did. Still do love being a fireman. But it doesn't hold a candle to me working with those kids every day and watching them grow to learn to love something like I love it. And I know that the seat I'm planning today is shade I will not sit under, but somebody will sit up under that shade. And that's the reason why I keep going hard every day. Yeah, there's a lot of people that get the world's oldest stigma was the saying that the people who can't are the ones that teach people how to do it. That's complete bull crap whatsoever. The stigma of the training officers being the guys that just kind of stand there and tell you what to do because they don't do anything, that doesn't happen anymore either, at least not where I work. We go shoulder to shoulder with them all day long, sweat with them all day long. I think it keeps me younger, makes me feel younger because I want to get out there and work with those kids all day long. And the biggest thing of it is how can I go easy when I know if I would be failing them if I did not go hard with them every day. If I did not try to give them my absolute best every day, I'm failing them. No matter what, in the street, the fire department is in the customer service business. I'm in the customer service business too. The only difference is the customers I'm serving are twofold. I'm serving my students because it's my job to teach them. And secondfold, the other customers I'm serving are the guys I used to work with riding shoulder to shoulder going in house fires because what I do now is the product they have to work with afterwards. And a lot of people don't understand that a lot of times. And that's why I don't go easy. That's why I'm not just rolling back on Easy Street. There's a lot of people in the world of training that are trying to change that stigma, and the guys are out dragging knuckles to do it. And the only way it's going to get better is for us to keep working hard and trying to make a difference. I had another question pop up. Yep. Let's see. This would be one for you guys because Kelly just kind of throwed me one straight out to me. Let me find it. Because it was, I seen it earlier, John Smith. Wow.
You got to get yourself a Sam.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a Sam.
Every night. Yeah. All right.
Shout out to Sam.
Samunition. That's what we call it. Samunition. You can solve any problem with enough Samunition.
Yeah. Okay.
Amen.
Let's see. You guys can't tell. I'm not used to this. I'm trying. All right, here we go. It says,
you're killing it.
it said, crap, it just went away. Well, what it is I'm not used to this many people stop. My slow butt computer won't keep up with it.
All right.
If everything's under control, Wayne, you're not moving fast enough.
Look, I'm like a duck on a pond, man. Them little kicking
Getting
like
in front of the
crazy.
curve behind Eric Jones coming.
Yeah, I mean, I seen where
Hey,
Eric.
somebody text me the question.
Hey, I got one, Wayne. I'm following
I'm about
along.
to throw- yeah.
So, question coming out from Sam Sparacello. What keeps you personally motivated to continue to spread the passion for the fire service day in and day out?
You want that, Corley?
I don't, absolutely. I think Rob
It'll
said
be
it
easier to go in
best.
the same order.
There we go. I'll do it. I think, man, I've thought about this because what does keep me in it? You can dig into the why and all that kind of stuff, and I'm sure there's all sorts of psychological reasons for why. But my default is just I'm a dreamer and I'm passionate, man. I am, and so when I lock into something, I don't have another speed on that, and so I don't understand not being that way, and so I don't know if that'll always be that way or not. But there isn't. It's almost there's a downside to not having the off switch when it comes to things you're passionate about. And so it is that is it the ADHD? I don't know, the curse of it where it's just, you just lock in and go. And so I don't now on the job, people who know my story know that I wasn't always a plugged in firefighter, and that was a journey, and I did fail, but luckily it was failing forward maybe. And so that's what got me to where I am today. But no, it's just default passion. And that is the truth of it. And I really am proud of that. And it doesn't take a lot to go and dig to find it. And I just need something else to throw my energy at. And as long as I have something to throw my energy at, then I'm moving forward. I don't know if that answered the question, but yeah, kicking it. It wasn't sexy as far as the whole why, but
That was good. It's your why.
I'll throw it to you.
What's up, Sammy boy? Sam's the best, dude. One of my favorite people.
Great question, Sam.
Yeah, legit. If you want to be completely transparent, it's exactly what Corley said. It's passion, and some of it is selfish. My cup gets filled when I'm able to share my passion and I can get it out of my head, out my mouth, and it makes sense to somebody else. Right? Otherwise, it just stays stuck in here, bouncing around all day. And honestly, when you're passionate about something, it's divine intervention in my belief, man. You can't control what you're passionate about, just like you can't control who you fall in love with. It's something you like, something that works with your chemistry or with your DNA. I absolutely love firemen. I absolutely love the fire service. I cannot get enough of it. My cup gets full when I'm able to do fire service shit and talk about fire service shit to other members and help them along their journey. Bringing somebody up, it fills my cup. Given the opportunity to get my message out, to get the stuff out of my head to my mouth, whether it's on paper or in person, it's a blessing that I did not earn and happened organically. It was never the plan, but for some reason it became it, and I absolutely value that tremendously. I really, really enjoy the process of learning and putting information out there. The curiosity's kept me digging deeper and deeper and deeper. Naturally, I'm a person that if you told me to look here, I want to look down here. And I just held my hand up and down for the people not watching. And it's just my nature. I want to understand everything at a granular level. Especially when it's something that I care about. It may be the ADHD. It may be my ability or inability to focus on shit that I'm not passionate about. If I love something the same way when I found the fire service as a kid, I loved sports and I loved nothing else. I was a subpar student. My behavior was horrible. I was subpar at everything I did because it wouldn't hold my interest. The second that I found the fire service, like everything else you cannot control, it flipped a switch and I realized that that's what I love. And then when I found the ability to understand it and translate it into digestible terms where I can chunk it out and teach it and talk about it, and you start getting that positive feedback, holy shit, dude. It's like freaking crack to an addict. I absolutely loved the feeling and I wanted more of it, right? And then along with that comes the responsibility of making sure that you're ready to deliver that information. It takes years of failing, learning, reading, researching, and adjusting to earn 10 minutes of public speaking.
I love it, dude.
Yeah. All
Great.
right.
Great.
Go
I
ahead,
love the
Mr.
part where you
Man.
said it's almost selfish. I love that part because it is. It's almost selfish in
Yeah.
what it does for me. Go ahead, Ian. I didn't want to stomp on you.
No, I mean, I really don't know what to say because Rob just absolutely crushed it as far as I'm concerned. You know, realistically, and you guys can probably relate. You know, this feeling of love that you have every day. Yes, I love the job, I love the profession, but some days being a chief, it fucking sucks, man. It has those days where you wake up and wonder, why do I continue to do this? I love the profession, I love the people and everything, but some days the job is just not as enjoyable as others. So I don't want it to get twisted and say that, you know, I'm perfect when it comes to this. I have an excellent network, you know, guys like Sam, guys like, well, you gentlemen here, all my CFT boys, you know, the roughneck group that I run around with, the 2 and 2 out guys. I have this network of people that help me whenever my cup is empty to fill that back up, because I surround myself with individuals who legitimately care and are legitimately passionate. We all work in organizations where maybe not Rob, because Rob works in a brand new fire department that's building its roster from the ground up, and they can pick all the heavy hitters. But we all work for organizations that have, you know, people who are slugs, people who are detrimental to the morale of the organization, people who will just suck the soul right out of you. You have to surround yourself with people who help keep that within you. It's unrealistic to expect that you're going to be 100% motivated 100% of the time. But because I believe in the mission of this profession, I believe in what it is that we do as an industry, and I believe in the people in it, that I wake up every day, and even when there's a target on my back, people are questioning the motivations that I have, or people who are passionate about the job have, whatever, stand up, dig in, continue to do it, because it's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about us. It is about serving a purpose that is greater than ourselves and giving back to the world, putting more into it than we take out from it.
Oh,
Amen, dude. Can I add to that real quick? As you were talking, I realized that I don't want some young guy to listen to this and think that just because I'm so passionate about this, it's okay to just leave everything else out, right? As a younger firefighter, this is my 24th year on doing this job. I know nothing else, right? I got into this business somebody mentioned like cadets or explorers earlier or something or whatnot, or new hires. Like I got into this as an 11th grader in high school. This is all I know, right? And I'm 46 years old. So as my entire life has been this job. The men in this job raised me in the firehouse. The occupation, the responsibilities of, I know nothing else. And my desire to be, you're never going to achieve the best, quote unquote, right? But my desire to be the best, that passion, right? It comes at a cost. So please, if you're this passionate, my advice to you as, I guess like an older guy now in the fire service is that if you want to be the best at something, you have to understand that you're not also going to have balance along with that, right? Because the price of one is the other. So you have to make sure that you kind of like control that balance and understand that you have time. There is time. Give time. Because if you try to rush through the process and just chase your passion the entire time, and also expect to have balance, you're in for a very rude awakening. All right? Because the price of one is definitely the other.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. All right, guys, I figured this thing out. So what I'm doing is I can't keep up with the scrolling over here. It's going so hard. So I've been taking pictures of it, so that way I've got them. I don't have to spend 5 minutes trying to do it. So I'm making it work. Improvise, good pump operator makes water move. It doesn't matter, So the one that I was curious about, it said, they said they were watching an interview. John Smith, he's one of my good buddies, said he was watching an interview with a pro athlete today about, and he was talking about how to be prepared for the game. Said he talked and saying he studied every small detail of his opponent's habits, their strengths, weaknesses. Said in your positions, what are the things that you study the most? And it's a twofold question. So it says, what do you study the most in your positions? The second one is, do you feel a new firefighter should be studying in that detail to be a high performer?
So in my position, what do I study the most? Is talking that now as a retired guy, or in my final position as a BC? Because a lot of what I do right now is I study that grandbaby a lot and just have fun with him. But I will take it as a BC, and I love sports analogies. I love the fact that he said, seeing an interview with the top performing athlete. I love Mamba mentality. The Mamba was probably my favorite athlete to study. I could watch interviews of Kobe speaking for hours. But and there's lots of but sports analogy specifically, he says he's talking about studying game film, studying your opponent, knowing what to expect from your opponent. And the fire service is no different. Our enemy is time. Our enemy, that's ultimately our enemy is time. But if you want to get into what you can study, fire behavior, building construction are the absolute pillars that you can you can't. If you want to ask me if a new person should study those, yes, absolutely, every day. And you cannot study them enough to and I'm not. I love the post that came out from Scott Thompson that's been going around. I want my recruits to be firefighters before they're janitors.
Janitor.
He said that on the can report with Mike the other day. Yeah,
and that was that like that encapsulates it. Like that, there's tons that they need to learn. So many disciplines, so many things they need to have a handle on. But fire behavior, building construction, especially with the amount of information that is available, like Ian alluded to already, with all of the resources and data that's now available that didn't exist when I got into this job. It was just because I said so. That's why, that's what I had to hang my hat on. Now, man, there's so much out there. So I don't even remember what question I was answering. I love sports analogies. You can study your opponent each and every day. What was the second part of the question?
About the people just starting, the young guys just starting up, should they?
Okay, so I kind of covered it. So that's good. I'll kick it to Rob. I'll throw it to Rob. Here we go. Soft toss to Rob. Go.
Say the question again, because I got lost in Corley's answer.
All right,
which was a great answer, by the way.
Score.
Yeah, Corley nailed it. So I'll tell you what, I got one following right behind, and it's more in Rob and Ian's wheelhouse, because this one right here is going to be solid. I can't wait to hear this one. It says, your thoughts on the training staff or programs and their responsibility in building and maintaining the organization's culture.
All right. I'll take that first, Ian. You can just pick up whatever I leave out, brother. The training, right? I spent 5 years as a training captain or training officer with my organization prior to this one, right? And now I'm the training chief, and I'm building a program from scratch, for 112 plus new hires of every rank. So my challenges are different today, but the things I want my organization's training cadre to focus on is first and foremost the latest and greatest national standards, what the data and the studies are telling us that is happening and not happening, understanding modern versus old fire service history, right? What's gotten us jammed up in the past? What have our barriers to success or to our goals? What have those been? And how can we work around them? I need a workaround. The days of putting people in those positions as a mandatory or as, just come end your career in training, or those days should be way behind us. I have a training captain. I have an EMS captain. These guys are going to be on 40-hour with me. These guys are going to be mandatory to go to 4 conferences a year. We're covering the costs. We're paying for it. We're making sure that they're out there listening to the speakers, listening to the latest and greatest. Because one thing is education, but education's for certainty, right? When you go to these fire conferences, you're training, and training is for uncertainty, all right? And that's what the fire ground looks like in the real world. You don't go to a fire conference to learn education or to receive a certificate. So I'm going to make sure that my guys go out there, because the fire conference circuit offers something that the fire academies do not, which is not education, but training for uncertainty, using that education you receive at a minimum standard level so that when you get to the crossroad, the proverbial crossroad during an incident, somebody else's experiences and or information, the way they've created a system to apply that education to that crossroad, lets you know whether you have to go left or right? And that's the beauty of a fire conference. You don't go there to receive a certificate. You go there to understand how to apply your education into scenarios that will make you go left or right. And I am going to, not even encourage, thou shalt go to 4 fire conferences per year. It's in my budget. I'm going to make sure that everybody gets out there.
I love it.
Otherwise, you can't be a trained.
Awesome.
I don't want to have that incestuous incubated. This is my sandbox. This is the way that we do it. Although I fully understand, and I'm a realist, and I understand that the fire service in itself has local jargon. It's a local sport. I understand that, right? But the way the fire burns here, it's the same way that it burns in the Northeast. It's the same way that it burns in the Midwest. It's the same way that it burns in the West Coast, right? The mission priorities are still the same. Our expectations from the public are still the same. And our actions need to match those expectations and those shared goals. So I'm going to make sure that our training division not only stays abreast of the newest and latest and greatest standards via studies, via fire conferences, but also that they're applying it. And then not only are they instructors, but they're also students of the game. All the literature in the world, before I pass it off to Ian, right? All the literature in the world will not read you into competency.
No.
It will not. You cannot read yourself into competency. Your ass has to fucking get in the pool and get wet in order to learn how to swim. All right? Go ahead, bud.
So getting back to the question of my thoughts on what the training staff's responsibilities are on building and maintaining the culture of the organization. First and foremost, what we have to understand is that the training division, the people responsible for educating, are the first impressions that employees are going to receive whenever they come into your organization. So the standard that you set in your training division, doesn't matter if it's a small department, large department, whatever, your standard is what those students, those recruits, those firefighters are expecting when they step out onto the floor. So the big question that I have is, does your training division's expectations and standards meet what people are going to receive? Now, that's extremely difficult because what you see in some organizations, and you can see, a breakdown of this in inverse ways, you might have an extremely motivated training division. An extremely motivated training division that's trying to set a stellar example that gets people fired up, that gets them absolutely ready to go. They're pouring industry best practice into these people. And all of a sudden you tear these recruits loose and they get stuck with people who are slugs. Now you have people who are generating friction because these recruits or these new firefighters did not get what they expected. So there's a disconnect there. Or you could have something that's inverse. You could have a training division where you have some guys who were towards the back end of their career. They moved into slower Monday through Friday positions so that way they could be at home in bed with their families, every night, off on the weekends, being able to go to all their kids' sporting events or whatever it may be. And they were people who weren't really plugged in. And you bring people in, you get them acclimated to the environment, and it's pretty chill. It's pretty simple. And then all of a sudden they get tossed out to a high speed company and, they don't know whether to sink or swim. And I'm not saying that those are the only two categories that it can fall into. There could be a myriad of different variations of that. But at the end of the day, the ultimate question is the example that you're setting in training meeting the expectation of the organization and meeting the expectation of the new employees? And if not, what is your solution to that? Facing this in my current organization, and I'm not trying to talk down about my organization. I love the organization that I work for. But we have a bunch of people who have gone out to conferences, who have gone out and learned new things. And what we've seen over the past few years is that we have a standard that's being raised in some areas, but that information is not being disseminated across the organization. The solution that I have for that is I'm trying to create instructor weeks where we have people who teach, whether it's engine company operations, truck company operations, rescue operations, RIT survival, where I'm getting all of my subject matter experts together. We're laying out what is our organizational doctrine. Our organizational doctrine is what we're planning on doing, building our playbooks. And with that, whenever it comes to our daily company training, I want my instructors to be able to go out and try and get us on the same page. We're never going to be 100% perfect. And what we have to understand is that even if I give you the same lesson plan, Wayne, I give you the same lesson plan, Rob, or I give you the same lesson plan, Corley, all four of us are going to teach it in a different way. But we have to have a baseline. We have to establish that baseline. And it's our goal as the training division to establish that expectation. And ultimately, it is the responsibility of the training division to maintain the culture of the organization, because we have to remember that, like Chief Fisher says, water boils from the bottom up, right? So we have to start with that lowest denominator, and we have to get them motivated. We have to keep them engaged. We have to keep them motivated so that way when they raise up through the ranks, they start building, their time on the job. We can create a culture of excellence. Like you talked about earlier, you're planting the seeds for the tree that you're never going to sit underneath its shade. We have to take that into consideration here, because we have some people that we are never going to be able to change them. We have two options. We either write them off or we write them out. And if we can't do either one of those things, pretty much have one choice or the other. But, if you can't write them out, all you're going to have to do is try and influence around them. Hopefully, maybe build a relationship where you can bring them into the fold. But let's face it, there's some people who are so motivated in this job that your motivation is going to do nothing but piss people off because you care and they don't. So with that being said, to kind of bring it home, just remember that the standard that we are setting, make sure it matches. And if it's not matching the vibe of what's going on the floor, fix it. Either fix the floor or curtail some of your expectations, which I don't necessarily recommend.
Right on.
Boom. Big O exclamation. This is pretty good cycle we got going. I like it. I really do like it.
All right, so throwing that, now somebody just throwed one right off of what you were saying, and it is awesome. It says, okay, so as the training officer, how do you overcome dealing with company officers that don't follow through with the standards once the recruits hit the floor? I think I know exactly what they're talking about, but as on a training level, that's more of an operation deal.
That's what I was going to ask. What's the hierarchy of the structure of the fire department, and where is that authority? Are you talking about a peer? Are you talking about across divisions? And that's where that comes in, because if they're in your jurisdiction, I don't know a better term, authority, if they're within your rank structure, then like in our department, the training chief would have complete control over those company officers as far as holding them accountable to the standards they set. But that's not the case in every department. Now, whether he does that or not is up to him, whether he abdicates that responsibility and holds that line. But that comes down to the hierarchy and the structure of the department. Because there's some places where they can just simply chin check the training officer and say, hey, stay in your lane. And depending on who's above them, how that plays out. That's a very nuanced question. Depending on I got multiple answers. We can take it down different roads. But
now, he said you got it, Corley. He actually said you answered it for him rolling into it.
Right on.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I mean, if I was with that scenario, I would, hopefully, if I'm the training officer and I've been there for a while, I know that company officer in some way, shape, or form, and nothing else, go do the buddy talk. Hey, what's up? This is what we train this guy to. This is where we're supposed to be. Step your game up. Do the right thing.
And I would say in the bulk of the American Fire Service, there's some departments that are just so massive you can't do this, but the bulk of the American Fire Service, the training division has an ability to have relationships with most of the company officers. I'm not saying super strong friendships, but they have the ability to build trust and have relationships with most of the company officers. And I will say they will get much further leveraging those relationships for that to close that delta and leverage that into results, as opposed to trying to use standards or SOPs or policies or any sort of formal structural discipline to enforce behavior. So, yeah.
Yep. Rush it.
All right. Let me see what we got. Let me go back to the phone pictures. All right. So what does being brilliant in the basics mean to you? And how can that be applied day in and day out without getting boring?
Let me field first. I'll go first. I feel like I talked a lot right now, but I love brilliance in the basics. So I'm gonna jump and go. And I will say this again. I get to reference Mamba once more. I'll tell a real quick story, and then I'll kick it. Which is, there was a high school basketball coach who got to go observe Kobe Bryant practice one time. And this story kicks around on the interwebs, and you can probably find it somewhere. But he got to go watch his practice just to take notes and learn and things like that. I don't know exactly the circumstances. And he got there, and the first 45 minutes of the practice was Kobe Bryant doing basic drills. And this high school coach was like watching it going, I don't understand, because this is the greatest basketball player in the world, and he's doing basic drills for the first 45 minutes of his practice, right? And the whole takeaway is basically he is the greatest basketball player in the world because he spends the first 45 minutes doing those basic drills. And man, there's so many things about high performers, but I wish I could quote the right people when I'm talking. I think it was Huberman talking about the separation of the absolute world's best. And it's whatever discipline you're talking about, whatever I'm talking in life, we're talking a lot of sports here, and sports translates so well to firefighting, but any discipline in life, the top tier performers are the ones who don't get bored practicing the basics. And that's one of the biggest separators between the elite and then those below them, because they don't get bored doing the basics. And when you can master the basics, truly master them, and not get bored with them, and just continually, because it is everything's a perishable skill, but the basics are perishable skills. And when you can keep them at peak acuity, then your cognitive and psychomotor bandwidth is just ginormous for whatever comes your way. So with that, I'll throw it to Rob.
Dude, you crushed it. I was going to talk about bandwidth, right? Mastering the basics, keeping it simple, like using the sports analogy. You can't become Michael Jordan overnight. Neither could Michael Jordan. Yeah. It takes time. It absolutely takes time. You have to invest in the basics, right? Those basics are the bedrock of our operational readiness. You have to make sure that your foundation is solid so that you can build on it. And I'm going to add to what Corley just said, and then kind of marry it to the Mayday mindset, right? The better you are at the basics, the better your chance for survival and staying out of trouble are, right? It facilitates like the recall of skills to match or overpower the stimulus under stress. It creates bandwidth. It maintains situational awareness so that you can free up your multitasking under stress brain, right, to focus on what it's supposed to focus on, because a firefighter's brain under stress, real world stress, is a terrible multitasker. So the more solid, the harder that bedrock of basic skills is, because I enjoy the journey, because I enjoy the process of being bored and repetitive and practicing the basics, the better my chances for staying out of trouble and surviving are. It just facilitates recall under stress. It creates more bandwidth, and it helps you maintain situational awareness. Send it in.
Oh, you son of a bitch. You literally just stole my last statement that I was writing down right here. Man.
You son of a bitch.
Brilliance in the basics. The most high-speed firefighters focus on the most fundamental skills, whether it's doing gear drills, getting your turnout gear drills down from 2 minutes to 90 seconds to a minute or sub-minute, being able to mask up with your gloves on, being able to force doors blindfolded, stretch lines, backward stretch, forward stretch, being able to work through issues. Knowing those fundamentals, being able to drill that to the point where, people talk about muscle memory, which muscle memory is a lie. It's just developing neural pathways and repeating those neural pathways over and over to the point where you no longer have to think, you simply react. By building those pathways, you are more easily able to, or you are better able to focus on being able to solve problems when they come up, because when you're bringing your heart rate down because you're not thinking about it, because this is something you've done over and over again, like you talk about with your Mayday mindset, you don't have to worry about that fight, flight, or freeze. You're just reacting to the moment. And the less you have to think about, the more you have the ability to focus on the greater task at hand. Talking about, not necessarily being task saturated, because it's not something that's overwhelming. Whether it's forcing a door, whether you're looking at, inward swinging, outward swinging, you're looking for your locking mechanisms, exactly where you're going to place your bar, why you're going to place it, your greatest mechanical advantage, know what your commands are, being able to run two tools at one time. The more that you drill that ad nauseum, you don't have to really think about it. You just react to what the situation gives you. Ultimately, the basics is the number one thing that we focus on. Everybody wants to be high speed, but at the end of the day, just because you can set up a 27-1 doesn't mean that you're going to be high speed. You might do that once to twice in your career if you're lucky. You're more likely to wind up forcing doors, stretching lines, and pulling searches than you are to wind up doing a technical rescue event through the course of your career. The real high speed shit is what we're doing out on the street each and every day, whether that's medical calls, basic medical calls, advanced medical calls, cutting people out of cars, or forcing doors, stretching lines, pulling searches.
Boom.
Amen.
That's all I can say. That's all. Boom. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. Boom. Boom.
Exclamation
I
point.
gotta make one too. You're all holding up signs. I'm gonna make a sign too.
Yeah. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So y'all's boys Preston got one on here for you. Your Mount Rushmores. Come on, Corley.
Oh, man. Mount Rushmore. I love Mount Rushmore questions. I don't know if I've ever answered this one the same way twice. And so that's always, at one part is my brain is I don't remember what I said a week ago, let alone a year ago. So I have thought about this question though. I really have thought about this question, and I'm going to put it on the one dude, easy answer, and then the other three are the people that he basically exposed me to, that basically changed the reason Firehouse Vigilance exists is because of this dude. This dude's name is Brian Crush. And because of Brian Crush's existence and his passion for the fire service, I was exposed to and introduced to Kurt Isaacson, Mark Von Oppen, and Dave McGrail. Without Brian Crush, Firehouse Vigilance wouldn't exist. I would not have met Kurt Isaacson. I would not have met Dave McGrail. I would not have met Mark Von Oppen. And those people had the profound impact of making me realize how unbelievable this job is. And that you can love this job, be good at this job, and be proud of it all at the same time, man. And so easy for me is Brian Crush, Kurt Isaacson, Mark Von Oppen, and Dave McGrail.
All right. All right, Rob, go ahead.
Dude, you crushed it. You see, my ADHD doesn't allow me to limit the Mount Rushmore to 4 people. And if I do, it drives me freaking nuts because, like Corley said, I want to be able to switch it up every single time because there's so many players in my career
Absolutely.
that have influenced any part of me, right? And they don't all have to be fire service related, man. My dad, right? My dad, my son, my mom, like everybody's got a say in what I've become, the person I am today. Fire service related, man. Like you name it. Like all the guys of old, the Andy Fredericks, man. Corley, I love you to death, dude. Like what you're doing for the fire service is tremendous. The opportunities you've given guys like me and others to get our message out there. Like you're on my Mount Rushmore. Guys that have influenced the fire service in a positive way. People you've never heard of. My first battalion chief, Dan Steele, rest in peace. These are guys that took a kid who had nothing to, I felt, offer this profession and made me a believer that I can contribute to the forward progress of our beloved fire service, right? And for me to limit it to 4, I know I'd get 0 points on the podcast, Corley. I'm sorry, dude. No max points here, but I don't got them.
Somebody's already gave Corley max points because he said proper full names.
Right.
Yeah. So there's
Brian
a chance,
Crush.
Rob.
It was for Brian Crush. I got the max. I know how to cheat the system and get the max points. You got to say Brian Crush.
Unfair advantage. Insider trading. Ian, buddy.
Last week I gave Corley 2 Mount Rushmores in 46 seconds, and I completely beat the
and you got double max points on that one. That was the first time ever.
You crushed it. You gave so many freaking Mount Rushmores.
Yes. I think he's almost ready for a jacket just off that answer. It was like, it was like, I can't believe it. And he just kept going.
Where's my jacket?
I mean, so I've given you guys a Mount Rushmore of deceased legends. I've given you a Mount Rushmore of living legends. You know, the only thing that I can really think of is Mount Rushmores of guys that you've never heard of, in the same way that Rob was talking about. And these are guys who work in the shadows, people who, give more to this profession than they take from it. And I got to say that if I had to pick 4 names of Mount Rushmores of people who operate in the shadows, I'm going to say Preston Vinegar, who's somebody who would probably stab me for having his name on a podcast. Preston Vinegar is one of the lead instructors for the Tennessee Smoke Diver program, and he is an absolute quiet professional. He is perhaps one of the scariest human beings that I've ever met on the face of the earth. Chris Gilpin, who runs the Oath Keepers cadre, that boss is an absolute rock star individual who doesn't care about fame or reward. He just wants to make the fire service a better place. Mike Fronimos, who is one of my best friends and one of my mentors. He is easily the most connected man that none of you have ever heard of, except for maybe Wayne, because you had him on there.
He was a player.
And my last one would have to be my old man, who passed away back in 2023. He is the person who set me up to be the individual that I am today, and I couldn't be more thankful than to have an exemplar of a man to live up to and try and be like him.
Amen.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Now, Mike was solid. And we've actually, since the podcast, we've actually had a lot of conversations back and forth. He's a wealth of knowledge, and he's not stingy with it at all. That's something I greatly respect from a lot of people. Whenever they're not stingy with the knowledge, they feel like the time they learn something, they want to pass that knowledge on to somebody else, so somebody else can grow. So there was 2 questions for Rob. One, Tyler was wanting to know why you're not wearing your jacket. That was the first one.
Oh, dude, I can go put that thing on right now.
What do you think, Corley? Max points for the red jacket?
Always. Hey, anytime. And I think there's going to be some jackets. Yeah.
Hey, if you can't have fun at work, why show up?
Why not?
Yeah. Oh, see, Andrew. Yeah.
We're waiting on you, Rob.
Andrew said, "Prove it."
Oh, Jesus. All right.
There better be no pants. There better be jacket, no pants. That's the other thing.
Look
that
at
looks
there.
sexy. Dude, that looks sexy.
Where's your pipe?
I feel like I need a cigar and a bourbon.
All right. So here's the other question for you. Why you're wearing your nice red jacket there, Ty? Where'd it go? It said, Rob, going from a training captain in your old department to being a training chief in your new one. What are some of the pitfalls that you've learned that you don't want to have happen in your new organization?
I love the question, Tyler. Thank you. Tyler is a rock star, dude. He's one of the up and comers, and he's crushing it right now, getting all types of opportunities, and he's doing the very best with them. Honestly, what I learned, and I got to give a shout out to Ian real quick. When I was going through this interview process back in February, March of this year, I reached out to Ian, and he was so freaking benevolent with all his information and all the stuff he had done to prepare for his process, and he sent it all to me immediately overnight. Without me even asking, he offered and he helped and he kept his word and sent it all to me. So I appreciate you, but I used every bit of it for my interview process. Long story short, man, what do I right now? To be fully transparent, I am dealing with a training calendar build out for 112 members over 4 months, and that is a logistical nightmare. So every single brain cell in my brain right now is consumed with the inability to think about anything past June of next year. But I have to hold my guys to a standard. We have to hold ourselves to a standard. We have to hold our people to a standard. In my opinion, again, this is subjective to what I believe in. Training is the heartbeat of the organization, right? And not only training, because everything works at the training level on the fire ground, but can we turn that into consistent wins? Can we turn that into fire ground success? Can we turn fire ground failures and identify them and turn those weaknesses into strength through training to get buy-in from the entire organization, right? You have to have these members, these company officers, these battalion chiefs become our biggest ambassadors, because they're the gatekeepers. They're the ones that maintain the standard on the road, not the guys upstairs working 40 hours and sleeping at home. Right? Those guys have to become our biggest advocates. And the same way that we expect that from them, we're going to hold them to a standard. And the standard is, this is what we do here. This is our common ground. This is our shared vision. And we're going to work towards that together. And that's not going to change and not deviate. It's so hard to consistently evaluate and analyze these programs you build out. And I understand it's hard work, because saying something and doing something is completely different. So I can put as much shit as I want on paper, but very, very few policies, procedures, or SOGs survive first contact in the fire ground. If I do not monitor that consistently, analyze it consistently, identify the gaps, and improve on them consistently, then I won't be doing my job effectively. So training captain to training chief. As the training captain, I pushed ideas up. Sometimes they worked, sometimes they didn't. When I was given a task, I would execute. As a training chief right now, I'm developing the program, building out the skeleton, giving them the blueprint, and having them go out and execute. And not only execute one time, but analyze, identify, research, rebuild, and move forward. I want my guys to understand that these are our gutter guards, and they're very far apart. They could be 100 yards apart. You can operate any way you want in that, even if it's not the way that I would do it, right? As long as our shared vision is shared and our goals are remain constant and in the forefront.
Boom.
That's what I got.
Yeah. All right. So I had somebody call me out over here on the side, and they said that I didn't give my Mount Rushmore. So I'll give you two that everybody knows and two that very few know. But it's my Mount Rushmore. So my two that everybody would know would be Bruno and David Rhodes. That would the two that is only a few people would know. One would be Bill Burns. He was my first captain once I got paid. He still is one of my biggest mentors. He's one that taught me the majority of a lot of what I know and took the time to teach a punk kid how to become a fireman, and gives me a lot of the drive on how to do it for others. So that, and my last one would be Billy Strickland. He is our, and I'm not saying this because he's my boss. Anybody that heard me say that name and they know who the guy is will understand why. He's my training chief. I've known him for over 25 years, and he has done nothing but try to better the fire department and everything by investing in others and trying to develop them. He actually started one of our first high school programs in the state, trying to develop young people to make the fire department better, give that love for learning. And I think that, the guy could go home and retire anytime he wanted to. I think he just loves working and loves seeing the change and knowing he's helping guide the way and stuff and inspiring people to be better and give a better fire service. So that would be my Mount Rushmore. But I'm kind of like Ian and Corley. I mean, there's so many people. Just for four would be rough, but for two and two, that would be it. One guy I work with every day, and one I spent the better part of my career with. And the funny thing is my mentor. You know, we still talk at least once a week, and we still have lunch once a month. And he's still telling me what I need to teach. He at the anniversary, he reminded me of the anniversary of the Hackensack Ford fire. Make sure you go over this with the kids. You're probably they need to learn something about bowstring, and sent me a whole lesson plan off of that event and how to break it down. Let me see. So that was my Mount Rushmore. I got called out on the side. Everybody's like, "You got theirs, but didn't get yours." So let's see. I'm waiting to see if there's anybody else in the group or on the comments. That's okay. So we got all the questions called up. So what is in store for Corley for 2026?
Yeah. Pat, the solo is probably the biggest thing coming out the gate. January 1, the first episode of the solo drops, and the goal is the first of every month the solo drops. Right now I've got 2 in the can, so January and February is covered, and I'm recording Monday I'm recording episode 3, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's a lot of fun. Every episode it gets a little bit more clear what I'm trying to do, and so every episode it gets a little better, and it's a lot of fun to work on. But it's totally different than the scrap. The scrap, of course, has the live audience, and working with a live audience and fielding live questions is a totally different animal. And being able to actually record with somebody I love having a conversation with, and that's the criteria for coming on the solo is I like to have a conversation with you. So, but to record and then to say, hey, say that again, but give me another take, and so I can edit it, man. That's just a whole different animal than the live beast that is the scrap. That is just. You never know what you're going to get, and you just have to ride the tiger.
Scary. So, I'm not going to lie.
But so I'm excited about that. The solo's big, and then of course I've got a project. I'm not even but that's the big one. That's the big. I'll leave it there. If people know me, they know that I just don't. I don't even. I can't. Words fail me. So Rob.
I'm currently building a brand new fire department from scratch. So yeah, we're buying fire trucks, 11 trucks, ambulances, building 3 firehouses, developing policies, procedures, Lexipol, RFPs, budget, commission meetings. I'm going to put your audience to sleep. 26 is going to be a very difficult year for the Mayday mindset in the sense that I won't be able to get out there as much as possible. But I have a freaking magnificent fire chief and deputy chief. My deputy chief is Steve Shaw, and he's the podcast host for all the leadership podcasts on fire engineering. He's been in that position for probably the last 6-7 years. Even with Bobby Halton, he's the one that hired him back in the day, and he's still doing it under Chief Rhodes. So he's a full freaking supporter of everything that we do, and including up to my 3rd interview. I interviewed 3 times for the spot that I'm in now. During my 3rd interview, they brought it up themselves, which actually helped me, make my mind up, where they were like, we want you to keep going out there and doing what you do. At no point do we want you to stop that. We're going to fully support it. And the only reason that I'm staying less busy with the presentation component of it is because I have to be around for when we bring these people on. Right. Most of our people come on in May. The large group of it comes in in June. So from May and June all the way down to like October 1, I'm going to be like home a lot. But the guys will still be getting out and doing a lot of the hot classes. I'm going to Orlando next month. And then after that, in February, I think I'm in Ohio twice. Then March, Mayhem in Boise. April is FDIC. May is Germany. I'm taking June off and then heading over to firemanship in July. And that's pretty much where my schedule stops. And that's as far as I'm traveling. I'm going to do a lot of local stuff. The state of Florida is huge. And, you know what they say, it's tough to be what do they call it, a prophet in your own town. And so work in Florida has gotten better over the years, and teaching opportunities have increased. So I'm going to take up as many of those as I can, because those are day trips, which doesn't take me away from the job during the week. Yeah. But I'm excited about 26. 25 was kick ass, and I'm looking forward to getting out there and seeing the brothers and the sisters.
Awesome. That is awesome.
So,
Ian?
Yeah, so 2026, I don't know if we talked about it before or in the first question. I'm trying to take a little bit of a step back in 2026 and try and focus on my organization and trying to build my organization up. Also, I'm not a huge fan of being the center of attention or the spotlight. So taking a step back and trying to go underground for a little bit. Anything that I've already committed to, I'm going to be there. I honor my commitments and everything. But at the end of the day, I need to make sure that I'm doing everything for the right reason. Like you talked about earlier, Rob, it's easy for these to get somewhat selfish at the end of the day. I want to make sure that I'm out there for the betterment of this industry. And I've had a couple people challenge my motivations, and I owe it to not only my family, I owe it to my organization, I owe it to this profession to make sure that I'm not doing this for my own ego. I'm doing this for the betterment of the craft. And when a couple of times that had been said to me earlier this year, I really think that taking a step back and taking a little bit of a hard look at my life, myself, and the way that I carry myself, taking that step back is what I need to do.
I respect that 1,000%. I mean, that's just real. And that's good. I'm hoping that I can keep this growing, keep having a lot more guests like you guys. There's a lot of people in the fire service that nobody's ever heard of. There's a lot of people in the fire service that have a lot to write on the chalkboard for knowledge, because a lot of what we learned from were stories, listening to the old timers. Every story had a lesson in it, somewhere, shape, or form. It was either a lesson of what to do or what not to do, one of the two. And I think I'm going to try really hard to give people that's never had a chance to tell a story to tell their story. Because if we don't, we might never hear it. But at least this way we will. I had some opportunities this year that I tried to talk to some of the old timers and get them on the podcast and at least get some of those stories or we could save them. And I didn't push hard enough or was not successful getting them on, and they're not here anymore. So those stories are gone. And I kind of beat myself up some for not nudging enough to try to get those guys on because they were led. You know, one of the guys, you know, we called him Daddy Don, and or called him Father Fire, and guy taught for over 60 years, and
bless.
Yeah, I mean he I don't know the exact number of hours, but it was tens of thousands of hours logged on the state curriculum for teaching over his career. And just all the wisdom and knowledge. Yeah, we need to try to. There's a lot of other people across the country that we could capitalize that on for people to have forever and ever, because especially with digital where we can save things, or people that if they're not on a circuit or this or that, you know, that's why I try to really reach out to people and say, if you got somebody that you think is worthy of telling a story, sharing some knowledge, everybody doesn't have to be a super name guy, you know. Rob, you said it before, you know, when you go out to some of the conferences and stuff, there are some kick-ass firemen that nobody will never know what their name is, and they can drag knuckles all day long.
Oh, some of the best people I've ever.
Yeah, we need to find those people. It's not to brag. It's not for them to show off, because that's what none of us try to have anything to do with that. It's about what can you share to make the service better. I'm giving you your chalkboard. Write your message and teach somebody, because everybody doesn't have a platform to be able to share that message. So that's what I'm really hoping, is that I can expand it out for more people to be able to share the wisdom they've gained during their career in the fire service and meet a lot more cool people.
Amen, dude. Hey, Wayne, can I add to that real quick? And it will be real quick. And like that's the number one thing. When you hear somebody say it real quick, it's never quick, but I will keep it quick. Right? It's so true, right, Corley? So much of what we do is storytelling in the fire service. It's another thing that I love about it, right? You said it earlier. The stories at the kitchen table, the stories at the firehouse, the stories in the truck, the story at social events, right? So much of our training is indigenous. This is the way this tribe does it. These are our norms. This is the way it's happened here. And that is so important, to marry education to indigenous training. It really, really is. And if you missed the opportunity to talk to those people, become their voice, dude. Say their stories, share their names. Yep. You still have that opportunity. Don't beat yourself up over it. That's all I got.
I got some people I can put on there to help me with that. But no, it's just I just hope it grows. I don't care if I ever make it viral or anything else. I want somebody to be able to look at the digital stuff we make later on, and maybe they can learn something. Maybe they can share something. Maybe they can say, look at the energy Rob had in all 4 of these podcasts. This guy truly loves it. We need you to have that energy. Or some kid can look at it later and say, how can he love the job this much? Maybe that might be the best recruiting tool we ever have for that one kid that might be a rock star one day. Just truly being who we are. And
yeah, man. A lot of white monsters and nicotine. I'm kidding.
Blueberry Red Bull.
Am I kidding?
This right here is how I'm going to end today with this, guys. I'll wrap it up off of this one comment. This whole podcast and saying the biggest things they absolutely love about it was what they seen was a bunch of brothers full of humility preaching the love of the job. If we can do nothing but show people that we truly love this job, that we are humble and we're empathetic, we can move mountains. and we can make anything possible. I think I'll end it with that.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, here's your chalkboard.
Mm-hmm. Right
You've
on.
been writing on it all day long. Is there anything else you want to throw up there?
Boing.
Boing.
That's a very.
I think I was looking at a Batman.
Very descriptive onomatopoeia. I think he wrote boing on the chalkboard.
Yeah, he wrote boing.
Boing.
Yeah. Thanks
you
for
gotta say it right. Boing. That's a perfect way to finish.
Amen.
Yeah, that's it. You should have wrote the end, and you could have picked it up like.
Great job, dude. Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Guys, thank you so much for being on here with me tonight. I've had a blast. I think I've laughed more tonight than I have in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I really needed it. Thanks for doing the last show of the year with me. I hope all of our guests listening enjoyed it. If you've got anything that we didn't answer, shoot me an email, thefirefighterschalkboard@gmail.com. I'll get up with these guys and we'll get you an answer. If you've got anybody you want to see on the podcast for 2026, send me a list of names. I'll contact them. The worst thing they can do is tell me no. I'll reach out to them. There are stories to be heard. Give us the access to the people so they can tell them. Once again, Rob Ramirez, Ian Schulte, Corley Moore. I appreciate it. Debbie cakes are on the way. Wait a second before I'm done. I can't quit like that because I just had the Debbie cake thing. Have you seen the the hard plastic lighted Christmas tree Debbie cakes at Walmart?
No,
I have not.
Okay, so if you go to the garden section at Walmart, like where they got all the Christmas stuff right now, they've got these big plastic 3 foot tall lighted little Debbie Christmas tree cakes, like a yard ornament. I'm going to go buy one tomorrow, and I'll take a picture of it lit in my front yard and send it to you because it's like amazing. I should have bought one the other night.
I had to look it up. I know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed that it's not your set piece for tonight.
I was waiting on Chris because Chris said he was going to come on here and heckle you guys all night, and he failed miserably. I'm just going to leave it in the recorded part of this because I know he'll listen to it later.
Hey, man, Merry Christmas, guys. It's great to see all of you, man. I love your faces.
Guys, I hope you all have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and hope everything goes good for you in 26. I'm here if you need me. Give me a call, a shout. Everybody, thanks for listening to the Chalkboard. Like always, stay safe, keep learning, and we'll see you the next time somebody steps up to the chalkboard.